You are far more valuable than you will ever understand, and you deserve the full beauty and spectrum and gamut of the human existence. So in terms of knowing your value, what is your life worth? You're worthy of the full human rights that you deserve, and no country, no flag, no constitution, no Bill of Rights even supersedes or precedes that. Those things don't give you rights, they acknowledge the rights you already have. Hey, I'm Michael Render, Shayna Render's husband, co-owner of the Swag Shops. I'm co-founder of Greenwood Bank. I'm one half of Run the Jewels, and reluctantly, I'm a leader. People are often asked, how did you find your purpose or find your value? I was fortunate enough to grow up in Atlanta, Georgia. So I've never felt unvalued. My grandmother, who had helped everyone from the NAACP to SCLC to marching, whether it was Montgomery or Birmingham or Selma, it meant a lot to her. So by the time I got politicized, about 14, 15, it was on. I wanted to be a rapper. I wanted to sing and dance. Rap in itself, hip hop in itself, whether it's DJing, dancing, graffiti, are a protest to oppression, or a protest against being marginalized and put out. So for me, my existence as a rapper, as a businessman, as an activist and advocate is a protest against oppression in itself, simply by me taking my imagination and creating with that is an act of protest against a system that says that that's not valuable.
And we're seeing that Black folk are disproportionately impacted. We're more likely to die, more likely to be hospitalized. Much of that is related to old systems of inequality, what I call COVID-16-19, which shows up in health inequality, wealth inequality, and the ways in which we're overrepresented in the criminal justice system.
I know these men get it, but I want to challenge the Democratic Party to do better. Addressing us as though we're a marginalized community that is always on the cusp of falling off has worked, but we haven't seen much progress. So what is the new policy going to be that ends this circle of poverty leads to crime? Crime leads to poverty, leads to policy like the 94 crime bill. 20 some odd years later, we're still in poverty, still committing crime.
I knew I could lead, but I didn't understand I was a leader, Because who wants to lead? Leading is a thankless job, you know what I mean? When you talk about leading, it's like you're going to, whether good or bad, somebody's going to be unsatisfied. You're going to let someone down no matter what you do. But there's a call to leadership for some people. And I have been called to lead in times. Don't mean I want to be everybody's leader every day. But there have been times in my life where I understood this is bigger than me. Something put me here.
So my question for us on the other side of this camera is, after it burns, will we be left with charred, or will we rise like a phoenix out of the ashes that Atlanta has always done? Will we use this as a moment to say that we will not do what other cities have done, and in fact, we will get better than we've been?
I felt like that cop I was witnessing a lynching. And I didn't feel helpless as much as I felt outraged. I felt outraged that the Asian cop that was right next to him, who's a person of color, did not get his person of color ass brave enough to stop that from happening. I felt betrayed once again by the state. One person can record, the other 20 people there need to pull that cop the fuck off somebody's neck. And I feel like until we push back in that way, the state is going to keep murdering us. I think that technology levels the playing field and saying, look, these things are happening. I think that the common person having a camera is a powerful thing. I hope that the proletariat, the people, the regular folks, the citizenry of this country lean into technology in terms of not only recording, but preventing, documenting. How I'm feeling right now is a mixture of feelings. It takes me back to the summer, I think 92, for Rodney King. For the first time in my life, I saw a truly multiracial, multi-sex, multi-religious background. That's what America really should look like, in matters of protest. Everyone was out riding on the behalf of the rights and privileges that Black people deserve and that they're often denied in this country. A form of economic protest is protecting your assets and making sure the people who got your assets in hand got your ass in mind. And with Greenwood, it follows a long tradition of Black banking and Black banking platforms that allow the unbanked, particularly Black people, working class, and others, including working class white folks and Latino folks, it allows them an opportunity to engage in banking in a fair way. What Greenwood plans to do is inject capital into businesses that they know work on the ground. In terms of dollars for your protest, there's no greater thing you can do than direct your dollars at a particular target for a particular reason, going for a particular outcome. We need to be comfortable with brown towns again. We need to be comfortable with the west side of Atlanta being a Black enclave financially and economically, because having the ability to control your dollar gives you the ability to buy a local politician. So for me, controlling our dollar is as important now as it was when Frederick Douglass was alive and pushed for the Freedmen Banks. It's a delicate dance with the dollar because capitalism was built on our back, but since we are in it, let's participate in it and not simply be victims of it. Plot, plan, strategize, organize, and mobilize. To plot something out is to think, to have the idea. Got an idea, this might work. To plan it is to take that plot, start to put it on paper, or create a process to plan. Then when you strategize, you get with others that may critique, that may help you shape it better. And organizing, not only are you plotting, planning, and strategizing, you're now getting other people educated so that they now know what the plan of action is. And lastly, you mobilize. Mobilization is once you figured out what I'm organized around, what is the end game, what are my goals, and you mobilize around the plan, the plot, the strategy, and the organization you've been doing. And that's very simple, very quickly, what plot, plan, strategize, organize, and mobilization. It's very simple to get young people to do this work. Do the work your fucking self. You know, I participated in elections because my grandmother dragged my 5-year-old self along. You know, so I took it seriously because it was always taken seriously around me. So if all of us do a little bit, none of us has to do a lot. So it's time that we start plugging in and making sure our people are with us, young people are with us every step of the way. How you go about killing your masters is to kill your need to be dependent upon anything and anyone. Growing a garden is killing your masters because you're no longer dependent on the food deserts that were left when grocery stores pulled out of our communities. Banking with Greenwood or any Black bank, Citizens Trust, One United is killing your masters because it gives you an option besides the big four. You know, eating fruit instead of sugar is killing your masters because fruit versus processed sugar is a lot healthier for you. And ultimately what you're killing is your dependence on the system that enslaves you by being more free, by learning to shoot, train, hunt, fish, by being a person that creates production and industry themselves, by creating your own businesses, your own jobs. You're killing your masters. And the more of that you do, the less dependent you are on the system, and the more the system has to bend to your will. So ultimately, I would say if Blacks make up 54% of the South, how can we buy more land? How can we galvanize our political protest into a political organization that bullies and gets first what is for you and what is deserved for your community so that your community can be a strong one amongst others? That is killing your masters.